guys, it's Jessie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video and another reading vlog. Today we have a super fun one that I've been looking forward to doing for a while. So basically at the end of last year I asked you guys both on my community tab and on Instagram to share with me your favourite books of 2023. They didn't have to be like 2023 releases, just your favourite books altogether. And I was so overwhelmed with the amount of responses. We got like 44 responses, and along with that, like some of you guys recommended multiple books, so I was like super overwhelmed with the amount of books to choose from. So I was kind of expecting to see pretty much like the Goodreads Choice Awards type of nominees and a lot of kind of votes for the same books, but there's actually such a variety. No book had more than 2 votes, so we had a ton of ones that are just mentioned once, and I ended up deciding to read every book that got mentioned more than once pretty much, and there were 4 of those plus 1 that I did exclude, which I'll get onto. But yeah, we got so many responses, and some of these were really surprising to me. I was not expecting it. I was expecting to see things like Fourth Wing, Powerless, Divine Rivals, maybe some like of the romance books that were big last year, you know, Lucy Score, stuff like that, things I think I see on BookTok all the time. But I was actually really surprised at the kind of variety of books on here. There were definitely some older ones, some ones that I was really surprised by, and we even have non-fiction in here, which is crazy. But yeah, without further ado, I will just kind of share with you guys the ones I picked. The ones that I haven't picked, we still have a ton. In my TBR I do have a like square that I can land on in my board game where it is a subscriber's favourite book, so that means that I'll pick from this list. So I will be coming back to this list. If you did submit something and it is not in this video, apologies, but I will promise to hopefully get around to it, or at least have an opportunity to get around to it again. So there was one that was voted for multiple times that I'm not going to be reading today, and that was 6 of Crows, which got 2 votes. That is just because I haven't read the Shadow and Bone series. I do have the entire Shadow and Bone series and I do want to read it, so I thought it would be best for me to read that first because I have heard that it adds to it, and I am interested in both series. So I did exclude that because I didn't want to have to read 3 books before starting this. So we had 4 books that had 2 votes. Firstly, we had one that surprised me a lot, and that was Spare by Prince Harry. So this is his autobiography that came out last year. I honestly had not really a very strong interest in it because I'd heard it was very long, and I just don't really care too much about the royal family in general. Like, that doesn't really interest me too much. But 2 of you guys, it was on your favourites list / your favourite book of last year, which is really surprising to me because I only heard it got kind of mid reviews, but I guess that's kind of people either side swaying it. Yeah, that is one that we are going to be adding to the TBR and reading for this video. I have it on my BorrowBox app, so I'll be reading it on there, and I'm very interested to see what I think of it. I never thought I'd get around to it, but I am a little bit intrigued. Then we have another book that I don't have with me physically right now, and that was Caraval by Stephanie Garber. So I know that the Once Upon a Heart series was super popular and is super popular, and Caraval is kind of like the origin series for that book series, I guess. I was kind of more expecting to see Once Upon a Broken Heart and stuff in here, but we did get Caraval, which I think is a bit of an older book, and I'm guessing people read because they wanted to get into that series, maybe, who knows. So I'm super duper excited to get around to it and see what the hype is with Stephanie Garber's writing. This is probably one of the 2 that I'm most excited for. I really can't wait to see what I think of it. I hope I love it, and I definitely think I'll be reading the rest of her books as well if I do, which is exciting. Then we have one that I am, I think, the most excited for, which I had heard a little bit about but nothing too much, and that was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. I believe this was in the Goodreads Choice Awards 2021, I think, and I forgot to say, Caraval is kind of like a fantasy about a magical game, I believe, so maybe like Hunger Games-y, I'm not sure. And this one is a horror book about a boy who is being babysat by the main character, and he's starting to like draw really creepy drawings and stuff, and it's got like the drawings in the book. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, they look really creepy. I'm really excited about this. I think I might really love it, and this is potentially, I think, the book with the most potential for this video. So yeah, we'll also get around to this. And then finally, this one was expected. As I mentioned, this is one of the ones that I did think I would see. I thought I might see more of it, but only, again, 2 votes for this one, and that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Obviously this took BookTube, the whole book community, last year by storm. This was probably the most talked about, most hyped up book, and yeah, I'm really intrigued by it. I've heard very mixed things. Overall I think it's loved, but I've heard it's pretty much love or hate, really. I don't think there's many people sitting in the middle. I'm personally thinking I might give it like a 3, to be honest. I'm very new to fantasy, so I guess maybe it is kind of like made for my demographic, I guess, but yeah, I'm just not sure what I'm going to think. I've heard the writing can be a bit cringy, but overall I hope I do enjoy it. It's very long and I'm excited to finally kind of be jumping on the hype. So yeah, I got this one out from my library and I am very intrigued by it, but this one I feel like could go either way, so maybe I'll save it to the end just to see what I think about it. I'm very intrigued and I know a few of you probably would be quite excited to see me read it. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get straight into it pretty much. I think we'll be starting off with Caraval, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so time for a little update. I'm now just over halfway through Caraval. This is such a quick read. The text on the page is huge anyway, and I've also been listening to some of the audiobook. It goes by so fast. So yeah, I'm already about 60% of the way through. I'm on page 242, and yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's nothing crazy, it's nothing exceptional, but I'm definitely interested in the world. I'm still not quite certain what Caraval is. I thought it would be more of a game, like a strict competition, but it just seems like everyone's kind of following these clues, if that makes sense. But yeah, overall I am still enjoying it. I definitely think it's probably sitting in the 3s, maybe a higher 3, but it's still sitting in the 3s. I definitely think it has room for improvement. I'm feeling like I think there's a bit of romance in here. I'm not too sure. I'm not oversold on it. But overall, like, I'm intrigued. I'll definitely read the rest of the series if it carries on where it is now. But yeah, basically we're following, oh, what's her name? Scarlett, as she goes to Caraval with her sister. They're both princesses, I believe, or like some type of noble figure. They go to Caraval, which is a competition once a year on this magical island with like lots of magic, and basically the winner gets a wish, so like whatever they want. She's teamed up with this guy and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So yeah, overall it's interesting. I would love it to have a little bit more rules, I guess, if that makes sense. I know it sounds like a silly complaint, but just to like outline like what the rounds of the games are and stuff, because it's multiple nights, but it doesn't seem like that different things happen each night. It's just like the time you have to complete all of the clues. I don't know, but it's still a fun time and I am enjoying it. So I'll probably catch up with you when I'm done with it. Hopefully I can finish it pretty soon, and yeah, overall it's a positive review and I am enjoying it. I finished Caraval last night and overall I did enjoy it. I definitely found it a very quick read, a very easy read. The text on these pages is very, very large and the audiobook actually isn't too long, so I was kind of doing a mixture between the both. I've decided to give this a 3.5. I feel so bad not rating everything a 5-star. Obviously, hopefully the other 3 maybe could be a 5-star, we'll see. But yeah, this was a 3.5. I did enjoy it. I definitely want to continue on with the series. I had a great time with the writing style. I had a great time with the pacing, everything like that, the characters, no issues there. A couple of things that kind of brought it down for me personally is I was hoping that there would be a little more kind of like trial-like stuff. I really like a trial in a book, and I feel like this was kind of pitched like that, maybe, at least to me, and it felt kind of less trial-like. There was obviously the magical game involved, but it felt kind of a little bit unorganized and a little bit less kind of structured than I'd hoped it would be, which is just kind of like my expectation going in. No critique of the book, obviously. A couple of the twists that you find out throughout the book I wasn't really like gagged by, potentially. There was one that I thought was interesting towards the end, but nothing that kind of like made me super shocked. I don't know whether that's because I just wasn't super invested into the characters, but yeah, a few of the like shocking and potentially sad moments I didn't find that sad, because I don't know, knowing it's a series and also kind of knowing the vibes of the book, there were certain outcomes that I had expected. So when certain things happened, I didn't know whether it would be like a permanent impact or whether certain things would kind of just resolve nicely for the main character, which I feel like a lot of the times it did. There were definitely some sadder moments and stuff like that in the book, but overall it was okay. I did enjoy it. I just don't feel too strongly about it either way. Again, I think maybe getting further into the series will help me feel more invested into the characters. I definitely feel like it was a very interesting setup. The world is very interesting, the whole of Caraval is very interesting, so I do want to carry on. I'm very intrigued, and yeah, I feel like maybe I'll have some more thoughts later, but that's all I'm kind of thinking of right now. And yeah, next I think I am nearly done with Spare. I've been listening to it as an audiobook kind of in between reading and doing other bits, so I'll probably chat to you about that when I finish it, because I think I'm very, very nearly done with it, to be honest. Hey guys, I am back at uni now, obviously, as you can tell, and this vlog is taking longer than I expected to, but I do have an update, and I lied to you because I said I would update Spare Next, and here I am halfway through Hidden Pictures, and that's where we are at. So I am now on page 175, which is pretty much bang on halfway through. This is such a quick read. I feel like it was about an hour and 20 minutes it took me to get that far in, which yeah, it's really fast. So I think I'm going to try and sit down and finish this evening, but we are basically following Mallory, who is an ex-drug addict who's just got a job babysitting, full-time nannying pretty much, for this family and their son Teddy. And it all starts off well. She's like living in a house at the end of their garden, and then Teddy starts suddenly doing some very weird drawings that his imaginary friend Anya is telling him to draw, and they are very scary, and some of the drawings are included in the book, and like they're creepy drawings, like they are not cute. And yeah, pretty much, you know, people being strangled, people being murdered, etc, etc. So it is definitely a super fast paced read. I'm really enjoying it. I definitely have some suspicions. I have my main suspicion about one character, because with books like this, because obviously he's got an imaginary friend that's talking to him about, you know, telling him to draw stuff, you don't know whether it's going to go full supernatural or not. I won't tell you, obviously, but I feel like always in books like this, you can never really know whether it's going to be, yeah, ghosts, or they're going to be like, no, it was just like another person all along. So I am suspicious of one person, just suspicious of them. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, it's a really fast read. It's spooky though, like it's scaring me. I had to put it down the other evening because I like to read with my noise cancelling headphones on, and like I can like not hear, and then someone will knock on my door and I'll not hear, and then they'll open my door and I'll get scared. This is probably one of the like scariest books I've read. I don't know why stuff like this really creeps me out. I'm very much enjoying it, so I'm going to sit down and finish it off, and then we will get the long-awaited update on Spare. Hey guys, so I'm just getting ready for the day, and I have now finished Hidden Pictures, so I thought it would be a good time to give you a little bit of an update surrounding that, and also finally talk about my opinions on Spare, because it feels like forever since I finished that and I just didn't get around to updating you for some reason. But I'll start with Hidden Pictures because that's the most like recent in my mind. So I have nowhere to prop it up, but pretend I'm holding it up. Here it is. So I really enjoyed it overall. I decided to give it a 4.25, I think it was, but definitely a solid 4-star. I've heard people kind of describe it as like a thriller. I definitely think it is like a horror book that has thrillery, I guess, pace type of thing, and some kind of thrillery tropes. What it really strongly reminded me of was Riley Sager books. I know he gets grouped a lot kind of in between thriller and horror. This felt like a little bit more of a horror-y version of a Riley Sager book, which I really enjoyed because I really love Riley Sager books. I've really never read any book that has kind of like pictures in it, I guess, like an adult book with pictures in it, you know what I mean? But I really enjoyed the addition of the pictures. I really don't know if the book would have worked quite so well without the pictures. I don't know whether that's like a kind of critique or not, but I definitely think they added so much to the book. Like I found them really creepy. I don't know whether that's just me, but like the idea of like children doing creepy things is probably like one of the scariest things for me. Like Sinister is one of the horror films that I found the most scary, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like this is like classic horror, I guess, very almost stereotypical, with like the like, is there a ghost, is the child like connected to the spirits, or is like he just like a bit of a psycho type of vibe. Like I feel like that's very much classic horror thriller tropes, but like I eat them up every time. I say every time, I've not read a lot of them, but overall I did definitely enjoy it. I don't have all too strong like opinions on it. I feel like the plot twist definitely shocked me, but it wasn't like something groundbreaking. Like there's certain plot twists, like True Crime Story by Joseph Knox is one that comes to mind, where I was like absolutely gagged, and I like think about it and I'm like, oh my god, that was such a good twist. This one, like, it surprised me, but it didn't necessarily feel like a really good twist. I think some of my suspicions were definitely correct, but I think overall there was like a few more layers to it than I had anticipated, and overall I did enjoy it. I think certain points felt very tense as well. We had like a very thrilling section towards the end, which I always enjoy, and yeah, all of these things I'm saying makes me even more like reminded of Riley Sager books. Like I think if you like Riley Sager and you want something maybe a tiny bit, it's not even that much darker than Riley Sager really, but like a tiny bit darker, a tiny bit kind of more horror leaning, then I would definitely recommend this book. And yeah, overall I did enjoy it, so yeah, a solid 4-star. I was hoping that it would be like a 5-star shocking thriller. I was thinking about kind of like 3/4 of the way through, it was kind of depending on what the ending would be, because it was very much in a position to like absolutely shock me and I'd love it. But overall, unfortunately, it didn't quite go, I don't know, kind of as far or like as crazy or just shocking as I had personally wanted it to. Yeah, still a very solid enjoyment level. I'm getting really nervous that I'm not going to get a 5-star out of these books, because I really want to, because obviously it's your guys' recommendations. But now moving on to Spare, which I finished a little while ago. I listened to this all via audiobook and I gave this one a 3 stars. I feel like there is so much like unrelated discourse surrounding this book. Like, I don't want to get in the whole kind of like Meghan Harry royal family debate, like just so you kind of know where I'm going into it. Like, I really don't care, to be honest. Like, I definitely agree that like the British media is horrendous. I think Britain is incredibly racist, like, you know, stuff like that I definitely think applies and kind of shapes my perceptions of like the royal family. I don't think it's a necessary thing for us to have in the UK. Like, I don't want to get in the whole debate, but like, I'm not a massive royal supporter, but like, I'm also not like a diehard Harry and Meghan defender. I'm kind of just like, they can live their lives. I'm really not all that bothered about them, to be honest. I don't mean that in like a negative way. I just mean that in it, like, I just don't find it all too interesting. But I was still intrigued to go into the memoir, because I know it had a lot of buzz surrounding it, and I knew I did want to pick it up at some point. I don't think I would have enjoyed it if it was a physical book. I think I did enjoy the audiobook being narrated by him a lot more. I definitely think that added to the experience. It's very long. I understand like he has a long life, like a lot of stuff went on. I think he's like 40 or something at this point, so like I know there's a lot to kind of be covered. Yeah, I don't think I would have enjoyed it too much as a physical book, just because I think it would have felt a little bit long. Having him like narrate it, I think definitely added to it. Obviously, I know that the book is ghost written. I don't think that came across strongly. It definitely felt like it flowed very well. It felt, when he was reading it, I mean, I barely have listened to him speak, but like from him reading it, it felt quite natural. Like, it didn't feel aggressively ghost written. So like overall, like I didn't have a problem with that aspect. And yeah, it was very, very long. I personally don't think it needed to be so long. There were certain sections that I think definitely dragged, I really didn't care about. I personally don't align with a lot of his like military type views and stuff. There was a big section on that, or just on the military in general, which didn't personally grab my interest, to be honest. I was more interested in like the childhood, and then like I guess a little bit kind of the stuff that went down with Meghan and stuff. He talks a bit about his mum, and it's actually quite sad when he does talk about Diana and stuff. Overall, yeah, there were certain things he said that like made me just think like, oh, you are still like an incredibly rich man that is incredibly out of touch. I don't know, like I'm not trying to be like defending rich people and stuff like that, but like I feel like obviously within his environment you can't expect him to be super in touch. Like that would take a lot of effort from him, which I don't really think he's interested in doing. But I think he tries to come across quite like down to earth and like very much aware, but he still comes across a little bit unaware at times. But yeah, overall, like I didn't not enjoy the book. Like I definitely don't think it's for someone like me who doesn't really have an opinion on him. I mean, people are gonna hate it because they dislike him, but yeah, for me, like I really just felt so little towards it. It was just like hearing like a random man's life story, and it definitely gave some interesting insights into like life within the royal family. Like I really didn't, and I don't think anyone would really have any idea what it is like. It's definitely not something I think I could do. I don't think I'd enjoy it. And obviously kind of going on again about how like the British media is obviously horrendous, or at least was horrendous in the 2000s. I wasn't like aware enough at the time, due to being a child, of like what was going on, but hearing about it from like his perspective, I guess, was really quite interesting. And I definitely think it was educational. I definitely think I learned a decent amount about just kind of like situations like they're quite strong in like pop culture history and stuff like that, I guess. But yeah, overall it was very much fine. I gave it a 3 stars, not due to like a strong dislike or like or certain factors pulling it a certain way. It was just, for me, it was extremely meh. Like again, as I said before, I think it's not for me. It's for someone who cares a little bit more about the royal family maybe. I just don't, to be honest. So yeah, I think if you have like an interest in this type of thing, like you'll definitely enjoy it. It's got like a lot of insight. I mean, he really kind of says it all. The constant use of mummy and daddy from a 40-year-old was a little bit jarring, I won't lie. And talking about his penis and stuff was like a little bit like, okay, cool. I didn't need to know that. Like it really is a tell-all. Like he says a lot of stuff. So yeah, it was interesting. But yeah, if it's something you're interested in, you would really enjoy it. But for me, I don't think I took away all too much from it. So yeah, overall we've had a bit of a mixed bag from your recommendations. Obviously we had a 3.5 and then a 4 and then a 3, so kind of like very average ratings for me. Like my average was a 3.7, the average for this video would be a 3.5, so like I definitely think it's on par with like my normal tastes. But I had hoped that I would love these all because I really wanted to like be able to share that with you guys, but unfortunately not quite yet. I mean, we still have Fourth Wing, and I've saved Fourth Wing till the end because I personally think it is going to be the most hit or miss for me. I think I could love it, hate it, like I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to think about it, and it's got so much hype and discussion around it. Like it really is a very Marmite book, so I'm very interested to see what I do end up thinking of it. So it's a bit of a risk saving it for last, but who knows, like maybe it'll be a 5-star, I don't know. But I guess I will catch up with you when I am halfway through Fourth Wing. I found the audiobook for it, which I'm super happy about because it's a bit of a long one and a bit intimidating, so I'll use the audiobook to get into it and hopefully get a good way through it. And yeah, we'll see what I think. I am very intrigued. Like I honestly have no idea like what the plot is about. I know it's got so much hype, but I've really kind of avoided most discussions around it. So yeah, I'm super interested to see what I think. So I'm going to carry on with my makeup and probably start the following audiobook. Hey, I am currently about just over halfway through Fourth Wing, so I thought it would be a good time to check in and share my thoughts. So I had pretty low expectations going into this. I know I've heard really good things, but I've also heard some really strong criticisms about it, but I'm actually enjoying it quite a lot. I'm really liking it. I definitely think there are plenty of issues with it. Is it the most original, well-written, in-depth fantasy book ever? No. Is it a fun time? I would argue yes. And I usually rate most of my books based on enjoyment level anyway, rather on like the academic rigor of the work. Do you know what I mean? So I will go through a couple of cons first, because I do think I actually have more pros maybe. But like a couple of things, the info dumping is very strong, especially at the start. The main character Violet, she uses her like knowledge of the world to kind of calm herself down, so she like recites facts, and I'm like, this is a bit ridiculous because this makes no sense, and it's literally just a way to kind of info dump in the world. And there was one bit as well that made me laugh a bit, because she is like overhearing this meeting and she thinks two people look alike. She's like, wow, they look like they could be related, and then one of them says to the other, he's like, hey cousin, and it's like no one says that. No one like refers to their family members as their relation to each other. You just use their names. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I found that a little bit ridiculous and it did make me laugh. I do think it took about 150 pages for me to get into it. Before that I was like, it's very meh. It's sitting at like a 3 maybe. Like I'm not feeling any type of way about it, just like a bit bored. And then I think around 150 pages in, the dragons got introduced and I was like, okay, like it's kind of fun, it's kind of funny, it's kind of a little bit camp, do you know what I mean? I am now like 280 pages in and I've definitely been enjoying it. I've done like a mix of audiobook and physical book, and I'm finding both good. I am finding that I do like want to pick it up. I'm quite eager to read and figure out what's happening. So yeah, I'm really like actually invested in it right now, which is good. I do think this really screams Divergent. I don't know whether it's just like with the different like roles you can have, but it really screams heavy Divergent. And especially if the character that Angel Elgort plays, the brother of Triss in Divergent, if that was a love interest instead of the brother, like I think that's exactly where this book is going, I can't lie. So I have a strong prediction about the big plot twist that I've heard in this book. I think it's one of the most obvious kind of fantasy book twists. I think coming from someone who's read like 3 fantasy books as well, like for me to say it's obvious, if it's true, is a little bit ridiculous. But then again, if you're writing a generic fantasy, like it is a fun twist to have. So like I personally think it's going a certain way. There seem to be a couple of clues that things are leaning a certain way, which makes me think that I might be correct in my prediction, which would surprise me because people were like shocked about the twist in here. And if it's the one that I'm thinking might be, that wouldn't really be shocking to me, but we will see. This twist has gagged me in other books, but in this one it seems to be very like obvious almost, but I mean I could be completely wrong, who knows. But yeah, overall like I'm having a good time. I think I'll probably finish it today, and yeah, like just enjoying the audiobook and the physical. Like I'm having a fun time with it. I can understand the hype. I don't understand the like I mean I guess it could get better, but like it's loved, like it's 5-star loved, whereas this is like a 4-star enjoy for me kind of thing at the moment. I will say about the author, I've heard some very like problematic things about her. I I'm kind of just going to treat it in the same way that I would treat J.K. Rowling, in that I'm not going to buy the books, I'm not going to give like my money to support them. I'm going to say here that I absolutely do not agree with their views, but this was obviously picked by you guys for me to read, so I did still have an interest in it, so hence why I picked it up from the library, and the audiobook I'm listening to is also from my library. So that is not giving my money in support of these people. I'm not trying to tell you guys that you're awful for like buying the book or anything like that, but this is just my personal way of handling it, and I do want to make it clear that I do not agree with some of the things that Rebecca Yarros has said, and yeah, I'm treating it in the same way that I treat J.K. Rowling. So yeah, overall I'm actually quite pleasantly surprised by it. And yeah, I'm also the romance, I am quite enjoying the romance. I did not like Xaden at the start. I was like, how is he gonna be redeemed? He just seems like a dick. And I feel like the switch almost to him being nicer is a little bit abrupt, but yeah, overall like I'm enjoying the romance. I think they'd be quite cute together. Violet as a main character isn't too bad. I don't think she is horrendous, like I think she's fine to read from, and I'm actually really enjoying the dragons. That's what I was kind of saying, about 150 pages the dragons came in and I was like, this is kind of fun. The dragons, like the way that they interact and stuff, they're actually quite funny at times, so I'm really enjoying their inclusion. So yeah, I will catch up with you when I'm done with it, and that'll be the last book of this video. So actually I'm quite glad we left this till last because this is quite strong and I'm quite enjoying it. Okay, so I am now back. I did just film the intro in this outfit, so if you guys have noticed, it is the same day, but I have finished Fourth Wing now, and overall I quite liked it. I really enjoyed it, I can't lie. I didn't adore it enough to like pick it up physically, own it and continue in the series with like super high expectations, because I've heard that the next one is a lot worse. But what I do think I will do is pick up the second one via audiobook at some point later in this year and just see what I think, and maybe end the series there. I'm not sure what I'll think about it. Overall I did enjoy it. I decided to give this one a 4.25 stars, which is reasonably high I think, and definitely a lot higher than I was expecting, especially in the first 150 pages. I was really not feeling the vibes, but then I did get a little bit sucked in, and it's just fun. It's really fun. I thought the action sequences were really very good. I thought the stakes did feel quite high, which is something I do feel like can not be the case in some books sometimes, and overall I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the romance, the kind of plots and the plot twists. What I expected to happen did obviously happen. It was kind of very much hinted at. It wasn't like, I've heard a lot about the final page plot twist in this. That wasn't like the thing that I had predicted from pretty much the outset, but what I did predict did happen, and I wasn't surprised by it at all. And also like certain character arcs with other characters as well, I had also predicted. I will say the ending, it didn't surprise me. I think from like a page or two before I was like, I know what's going to happen here, but besides that I was still like, I see what you're doing here, this is kind of fun. So this very much feels like a great kind of stepping stone from people that enjoyed dystopian books and want to get into fantasy. I think it blends the two very well in my opinion. It definitely feels like more of a beginner book for fantasy, which is perfect for me because I am very much a beginner in fantasy, though I will say I know a lot of people that are very much into fantasy and have enjoyed it, so don't take that as me kind of like talking down on the book, like that it's like juvenile or anything like that, because I don't think it is. Personally for me it would sit more new adult than fully adult books. Again, it kind of reminded me a lot of dystopian books, which I know again can be read by multiple ages but tend to skew a little bit younger. This one, if you take out the sex scenes, I would consider it potentially YA, but obviously there are very heavy and detailed sex scenes, which I don't enjoy listening to via audiobook, which was fun. I did not want to be walking around Aldi with that in my ears, and I had my hands full and I couldn't skip forward, and I just felt very uncomfortable, but it's fine. Overall it was enjoyable. Some of the sex scenes did remind me a little bit of the Twilight ones, where he's like, I just can't let go, I can't control my power. So you know, do with that what you will, but overall it was a fun time. I did enjoy it, I can't lie. And yeah, I really enjoyed the inclusions of the dragons. I enjoyed that the dragons had like their own personalities. I won't comment too much on the writing. I know a lot of people have criticized it, but nothing stood out to me particularly as awful, besides like some of the obvious foreshadowing and the comments I made earlier about the cousin stuff and the info dumping. Nothing besides that was glaringly obvious, and overall it was a fun time. Again, it's not a 5-star for me. It's nothing super memorable. I think it's nothing super standouty, but for me, getting into fantasy, I did enjoy the book. So that is my kind of overall opinions on that one. So I feel so much pressure in these videos to like give a 5-star, and I'm kind of really sad that I haven't, because I know these were your guys' favourites, but I'm so happy that you guys enjoyed them all and had a good time with them. Overall, I really enjoyed everything I read pretty much. Nothing was below a 3, which is great. Obviously I gave Spare a 3 3. I gave Caraval a 3.5, and I gave both Hidden Pictures and Fourth Wing a 4.25. So these are super strong successes. Anything over 4.25 I really enjoyed pretty much. I did like Caraval. I just think it kind of felt very set-up-y almost, and just like I think I had the wrong perceptions going into it maybe of like expectations and stuff. But again, I'm excited to continue on, and I definitely think there's like potential for Stephanie Garber to kind of like, you know, give me some really good ratings there. And then Spare I think was just like a lack of personal interest in the subject matter, but overall all very strong reads. I didn't have issues with any of them really, and I had a good time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you guys did enjoy, and if you guys have any other favorite books you want me to add to this list, let me know. I will kind of update with any recommendations from you guys. But yeah, if you like this, don't forget to give it a like down below, hit subscribe and turn on the bell to join a little club, and make sure you turn on all notifications, then you'll be notified every single time I post a new video. And if you want to watch one of my other videos, there'll be 2 on the screen down to pick from, as well as a load linked up in the cards from earlier. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.